It's time to bounce back for the Spurs. Nothing better than coming off of a rough loss than getting a win right after the fact. You never want to stack back-to-back losses, and the Spurs are looking to stop just that, trying to get a win over the Houston Rockets tonight. Spurs Digest family, what's good? I am Brian Colbert here with another Spurs Digest pre-game show. We appreciate y'all love. We appreciate y'all support. Y'all keep having us skyrocket, and we can't do it without y'all. If y'all haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button or click the doorbell so you get notified every time we drop a video. You know we're going to keep it coming as often as possible. So like I said, the Spurs play the Houston Rockets tonight. They've already beat them. It's a team they've seen multiple times already, which is crazy how the NBA works. It happens so fast. But this is a game where the Spurs really have to bounce back because that Clippers loss was extremely rough. But before we get into anything else about this game, we have to show respect and love and well wishes to our head coach, Gregg Popovich. As you all know, he will be out indefinitely while he recovers from an illness. They have not said what is going on with Gregg Popovich, but you have to imagine for him to miss any type of game, the way he loves the NBA in this game, that it has to be something of concern. Some of my sources inside the building say that they have been told that Gregg Popovich is fine, but that, that it's going to take time for him to get back. So the fact that a message was sent like that out internally lets you know that, it is something serious, but it's something that, they want people to stay optimistic about. And to me, this is just something we have to touch on because to me, Gregg Popovich not only is the greatest coach ever, but what he's able to do on and off the court, not only for these players, not only for the city of San Antonio, but for the NBA as a whole has just been huge. I mean, look at the coaching tree that goes under Gregg Popovich and the way he's given back to this game. And that's what he does. He gives back to this game. Gregg Popovich is in his 70s. He does not need to coach anymore. He has done everything you need to do. He has the records. He has the championships. He has the banners. He will be a Hall of Famer. He is a Hall of Famer. And there's no reason for him to coach other than the fact that he loves this game. And not only does he love this game, he loves the city of San Antonio. This has been home for him for so long. He is part of the fabric of this culture, and anything happening to a guy like Gregg Popovich will shake the foundation of not only San Antonio, but I feel the entire NBA. So huge shout out to Gregg Popovich, man. We hope you get better. We hope you are surrounded by love. We hope you're surrounded by loved ones and people that care about you and that can uplift you. And we hope in time, when the time is right, that you are able to make it back to the game you love and end this season on a high note with the team that you've really helped mold and build. Gregg Popovich is just an amazing guy. He's a funny guy. He's a cool guy. I know we've seen all of those clips of him, giving reporters a hard time, but a lot of it is just out of him just being funny. He's just a funny guy and he knows he's funny. And, he always, regardless if you believe in his political views or the way he stands on different sides, he always speaks up for what he believes in. He always speaks up for what is right in his mind. And he never shies away from the tough conversations. He never shies away from putting women or minorities in positions of power around him and allowing, people to grow and flourish and help just elevate this game and evolve this game. It's been so important to Gregg Popovich. So I really don't know what we do if we lose a guy like Gregg Popovich. But it sounds like he is doing okay. And yeah, I just think it's a great time to just give this guy his flowers and show him the love he deserves because, again, Gregg Popovich is just so important to the fabric of the NBA. And I mean, as long as I've been watching basketball, Gregg Popovich has been coaching. And just look around. Some of your favorite teams have coaches that fell under Gregg Popovich and that learned from him. And the NBA is just so much better because of a guy like Gregg Popovich. So I had to say that first because this is just a huge thing. Playing without your coach, playing without your leader is really, really tough, especially for a young team, especially for a guy like Wemby who, looks at Gregg Popovich like a father figure. They have that type of relationship. And I think a lot of these young guys view Gregg Popovich like that. So just big shout out to Pop, man. We wish you a speedy recovery, but you take your time, brother. You get healthy, you get safe because that is what truly matters. Now, when you're losing a guy like Gregg Popovich, when you're losing your leader, when you're losing your head coach, you need other guys to step up. And that is what Chris Paul is here to do. Chris Paul is here to be a leader of this team and be a leader of men. And that is what we have seen from him so far. And now that he is being more active on scoring, it's been great to see for the Spurs. And this is going to be a big big game for Chris Paul because, not only are we losing Gregg Popovich, we're also losing Jeremy Sochan. So it's going to be a lot more on Champagne. It's going to be a lot more on Barnes. It's going to be a lot more on Chris Paul. Interesting to see who starts. Does Keldon slide into that starting role? Does Zach Collins start? Does Castle start? You got to put somebody out there that can help defense, especially on the perimeter, losing Jeremy Sochan. And to me, Chris Paul is going to set the tone for this game. And Chris Paul is going to set the tone for this team while they try to recover from losing Gregg Popovich. Chris Paul is a leader. He's a guy that knows how to get wins. He's a guy that's shown an ability to be able to lead a team and put a team on his back. And not just in scoring, but in leadership, he's going to have to step up and do that for this team. Not only tonight, but for these games moving forward. The Houston Rockets aren't a great team. And Chris Paul, has shown that he's able to, play these guys, but they have scores. They have people that can get it done. There's still Vred Flambeau. There's still Jalen Green, guys that can put it up in bunches. And so it's going to be really, really, really tough to supplement the loss of Jeremy Sochan and Gregg Popovich. But it's on Chris Paul to be able to really kind of step up and show these guys how to lead. Chris Paul's been in games where he has lost some of the best players that, he's played with, but he's found ways to still get wins. And he's going to have to do that here. Chris Paul is going to have to be the heart and soul of this team, much like a Keldon Johnson will have to be as well. So I know it's a lot of pressure on Chris Paul. However, I think he will rise to the occasion. And he kind of doesn't have a choice. He kind of doesn't have a choice because it is looking rough. Losing Jeremy Sochan is just such a huge loss for this team. And I don't think we can make enough of that. And he's going to have to step up. Another guy, of course, that's going to have to step up and keep stepping up is a Victor Wembanyama. Victor is going to have to show that, he can pick up the slack on the perimeter defense now as well. Victor, of course, is a great defender, but he has to be aggressive. He has to be strong on both ends of the court. And I know you guys, 9 for 22 is horrendous. And 2 for 9 from the 3 is not great either. And I know what you guys are saying. Tell Wemby to stop shooting. And it's probably frustrates you seeing a 7'5" guy on the perimeter shooting. However, guys, the way that this game is now and the way that this Spurs team is built, you need Wemby to be a perimeter threat. You need to be. And the only way to get over shooting slumps is to keep shooting. I'm sorry, it's to keep shooting. And yes, I understand Victor has looked soft at times. He's looked weak. I don't want to say soft because I don't think any 7'5" guy is soft. And Wemby plays way too hard to be soft. But there's definitely things that you see Wemby and be like, okay, man, we need a little more. We need a little more from you right here, man. And for me, Victor's going to have to really be a huge presence on this defensive end against a team like this. Be a huge guy to make up for the guys that we are missing and losing. And Victor can do that, man. Victor is a superstar, and we keep talking about it. And he'll probably be a key to every pregame we have because, again, every single game is us not only watching this Spurs team develop, but watching Victor Wemby develop as the future star of the NBA. And I know you guys are low on him right now, but it's just the start of the season. Think of all the things that's happening. Last game, he was missing his head coach. He was missing his enforcer. Jeremy Sochan went out with an injury. And he's going to have to play without him. And he's playing without his best perimeter scorer. These are all things that are real. And these are all things that I think other players would get bail with if they were missing all these pieces. However, nobody's going to care about those excuses. They need to see Victor continue to show he can put this team on his back. And now more than ever, Victor's going to have to carry a bigger load. Him and Chris Paul in that combination is going to have to be huge. We're going to need to see 25 plus nights from Victor. We're going to just see Victor kind of doing what Anthony Davis has been doing with the Lakers, right? Where he's just taking on a ridiculous scoring load. You're going to have to play more minutes, Victor. You're going to have to do that because you don't have any depth. Jeremy Sochan was having to play the 5 at times, and now you're missing him too. You are missing so much depth. I think Bassey, maybe we'll see him. Maybe we'll see him tonight because we need some spark. We need some size. We need some defense. And a lot of that's going to just fall on Victor's shoulders. And it's not necessarily fair, but it is what it is. Victor Wembanyama is going to have a better game and be more efficient. It's crazy to think you're saying that about a guy that had 9 blocks, but still 9 for 22 is not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it in today's NBA, especially not going to cut it when you're a big man and you're supposed to be efficient. So, guys, I think it's very, very simple. You have to play aggressive defense. You have to play as a unit. You have to continue to move the ball, and you have to limit the mistakes, turnovers after turnovers. Those things are killing this team, and you have to rebound. You have to hustle, and it has to be a full team effort. Who are these guys that are going to step up coming off the bench? Who are these guys that are going to show? Are we going to get a little more from Castle? Are we getting a little more from Branham? He's been a little up and down. We're going to need a lot from Keldon in this game. We're going to need a lot. Very interesting to see who's going to start tonight for the Spurs with all these injuries, man. These are very serious serious things that, teams are going to have a hard time combating. But I do think the Spurs, have the depth to maybe, give some guys a little more minutes. And it's going to be a tough game, guys. It's going to be a tough stretch of games right now. We just have to be honest. However, a win tonight would be huge for the Spurs, especially a team that you're familiar with, a team that you don't like, a team that you're scrappy with. But hopefully that gives them that little extra motivation, playing for Pop, playing for Sochan, playing for Dev, playing for the city of San Antonio, who's hurting right now. They have to be hurting without their coach, Gregg Popovich. So hopefully that gives this team some motivation. Hopefully we see a win tonight because, again, these are the games you have to win, and you do not want to lose back-to-back games in this NBA if you are trying to be a playoff team. Spurs Digest family, do not lose hope. It's going to be a rough season, guys. All right. Now, I don't want to say rough. So I don't think it's going to be rough. It's just you got to be patient. It's going to be a long season is what I meant to say. You guys have to be patient. This is going to take time because, again, we are just in year 2 of the Wemby project. But it's going to work. I do think it's going to work, and I do think Wemby is going to be a superstar, so we just have to take time. And games like this go a long way. Spurs Digest family, I'm Brian Colbert. This is a Spurs Digest pregame show. Again, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, make sure you keep commenting. We love seeing the discourse in the chats, man. We love seeing that. We might throw up another poll for you guys tonight. And just thank y'all so much for showing love. And, leave comments on what you guys want to hear more, what you guys want to hear from. Ask me questions. I could pull them up on the screen and we could talk about it. So, excited to watch the game tonight, guys. And again, let's get this win.